Stephen Colbert was the king of late night television in the United States of America. He was the most watched host, the biggest name. Then, boom, CBS pulled the plug. Why? Was it streaming? Was it politics? Was it good old fashioned corporate greed? Or was it all of the above? Stephen Colbert took over the Late Show from David Letterman in 2015. He had big shoes to fill. By 2020, he had done what David Letterman could not manage to do. He crushed NBC's Tonight Show hosted by Jimmy Fallon. Stephen Colbert dominated the headlines. Stephen Colbert became the go-to liberal voice in late-night television in the United States of America. But here is the irony. The more Stephen Colbert crushed television, the more television itself was being crushed by forces beyond his or anyone else's control. While Stephen Colbert ruled the 11:30 p.m. time slot on CBS, his real audience, myself included, wasn't even watching at 11:30. They were on YouTube, catching monologues the next morning. They were on Netflix, binging dramas. They were on TikTok, watching jokes 7 seconds at a time. Even as Stephen Colbert's YouTube clips racked up millions of views, I certainly have watched almost all of them, CBS made zero from those viral moments. TV ad dollars do not come from views on YouTube. Those vital TV ad dollars, which are so important for the financial sustainability of a TV network, kept shrinking. In 2025, Stephen Colbert criticized his own bosses. Paramount Global, CBS's parent company, had just paid $16 million American to settle a legal battle with the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump. Stephen Colbert mocked them on air. In fact, let me quote him, he called it a big fat bribe. And just days later, CBS cancelled Stephen Colbert's The Late Show. Was it a coincidence? The official reason was financial decision. But critics, including Jon Stewart, were not buying it. Jon Stewart said, and I quote, "To the geniuses at CBS, you are, expletive, wrong. You are cancelling the most watched show in late night. Why? Because it's inconvenient?" End quote. Elizabeth Warren, Adam Schiff, the Writers Guild, they all accused CBS of corporate censorship. Remember, censorship in the US is a very important issue. The First Amendment categorically states that the American government cannot pass laws that infringe upon the right of its citizens to express their freedom of speech. However, there is no law prohibiting corporations from censoring the right of American citizens to express their opinion. However, this is something that can be contested in the court of law in the United States of America, and it looks like it might well be. So, this brings us back to the original question. Was Stephen Colbert cancelled because of strictly financial reasons, or was it politics? Or did streaming set the stage for this collapse? Here is the truth, in my humble opinion. Although streaming did not kill Stephen Colbert's show directly, it made late night, including Stephen Colbert's show, less profitable than it ever was. And when politics got messy, Stephen Colbert's not profit-making show did not prove to be as valuable in the eyes of a corporate entity so as to defend it against very formidable opponents such as the President of the United States of America. So no, Netflix did not cancel Colbert. Politics did not cancel Colbert. YouTube did not cancel Colbert. Colbert was cancelled by CBS. But we have to take responsibility as fans of Stephen Colbert that we never watched Stephen Colbert on CBS. In fact, I only heard of CBS because I watched Stephen Colbert on YouTube, because I watched David Letterman before him on YouTube. I have never watched any episode on CBS. I don't even live in the United States of America. But people living in the US who had access to CBS would rather watch Colbert's show on their phones the next morning, which really changed the way TV networks could sustain themselves. If you don't watch TV, how can the stuff appearing on TV continue to keep appearing? This is what makes legends like Stephen Colbert easy to let go. And surely the viewing habits of Stephen Colbert's fans made it easy for Stephen Colbert's bosses to let Stephen Colbert go. So, in a paradoxical way, people who loved Stephen Colbert the most, his fans, are responsible for Stephen Colbert's cancellation. This was my attempt at breaking down what is perhaps the most significant media story in recent times. But remember, the real story is often always between the lines.